Hi everyone, it's your boy Zach, and I had a shower thought while eating breakfast. No, I was not eating breakfast. Shower thought is just, you're doing something kind of mindless and then your mind wanders and you start thinking about something. Now, I hate culture war nostalgia. I hate people, who just like, do you remember when Max was statue? No, yeah, that was like 10 years ago. Who gives a fuck? But now that that dairy show, Welcome to Dairy, is out, my TikTok feed is full of just stuff about it, dairy, Stephen King, and it made me. And I'm seeing clips. I haven't seen the two It movies. I saw the original TV movie, which is a freaking masterpiece. Because old things are good and new things are bad. I don't know. Here's my issue with Skarsgård as Pennywise the clown. He's like this giant, broad-shouldered, square-jawed Nordic guy. And even when they put him in the clown costume and the makeup, like you can still see that it's this really tall, fit guy. So it just always screams actor in a costume. Whereas with Tim Curry, he was like middle-aged. He was kind of jowly. So like I just see Pennywise the clown. And apparently the kids on the set of that TV movie were fucking terrified of him because he just stayed in character the whole time. But anyway, everything with Stephen King comes down to bullies. And there's a scene in, the TV movie was pretty different in a lot of ways than the book and the later movies apparently. But they're showing a clip from the movies, and the way you defeat Pennywise is to make fun of him. You're just like, you're an old lady. You're just a bully. And he starts shrinking. He's like, oh no. He's like a cosmic entity that's like 20 billion years old. They should just say he's plain when he does all this stuff. You can't really defeat him with the power of friendship. But he's like, no, I just gave myself some self-imposed limits because I got bored because I'm 20 billion. Like, you can't defeat me. What are you, fucking crazy? Anyway, so one of the things about and bullies in Stephen King movies they're just hardened criminals. Like that's not bullying, that's attempted murder. But they always have this thing. It's like, well, if you stand up to a bully, because the bullies, no, some bullies are very strong. If you stand up to them, they will punch you incredibly hard. But it made me start thinking about Scott Snyder, because the other thing, while all of this, Stephen King stuff is in the social media feed, is I have a friend who bought the Absolute Batman Annual by Daniel Warren Johnson, and he's been traveling, and he's like, oh, comics are cool again. I go, yeah, they're actually really cool. So he bought it, and then he didn't read it because he didn't realize that it was like a big deal. He was just like, oh, this looks cool. So I'm just like waiting for him to read it, and then in real time, I got to see his entire reading experience. Like he sends a picture, he's like, oh, I'm going to read this. This looks pretty cool. And then since I read it digitally, I didn't realize that the image of Batman breaking that guy's arm, that's a double page spread. That's a lot more impact. I thought the way I was reading it, all the pages just kind of run into each other. So I just thought it was a part of a page. I didn't realize it was a double page spread. So I'm seeing him like read something, kind of barely knowing anything about it, getting excited, getting interested in it, getting more interested in it. And afterwards he's like, that's awesome. That's what the Batman movies need to be like. That's how this needs to be the main Batman. And again, I contend that Daniel Warren Johnson did Absolute Batman better than Scott Snyder, because he's basically just Reacher. It's like, okay, you can pitch it to people like that. What if Reacher was Batman? Okay, that makes sense. He loved it's so funny because, even without getting spoiled, we get spoiled on so many things. So everyone knew that there was a giant earth mover as the Batmobile. He didn't know. He just turned the page. He's like, what the fuck? So I was kind of, it was very endearing, but I was like, I wish I could read stuff like that and just things be just fresh and just turn the page and just be surprised. But it made me think about Scott Snyder. Because I mean, this is just a massive hit. Oh, by the way, sidebar. There's this new hilarious thing that conservatives do. Since Grok is, owned by Elon Musk, and since Elon Musk is right wing, therefore he's always good. They trust Grok utterly. So they'll argue with each other by like tattling to Grok and using leading prompts that they know Grok will usually take their side. So it's funny, they'll like, Grok, isn't this true? And Grok says, that is true. And they go, see. And sometimes they go, Grok, isn't this true? And Grok says, no, that's not true. And they're so shocked. They're just so hurt. They're like, Grok, how could you? Grok is not a reliable source. It's very inaccurate. It's probably the worst of all of them, except for image creation. It's actually, I don't know. I don't even think it's that great. It's just not as controlling about copyright as the other one, or not as controlled by copyright. But anyway, I'm getting to my point. Okay. What if Heather Antos was the bully that inspired Scott Snyder to create Absolute Batman? Because think about it. He was over there at DC. He was writing Batman basically as, contingency man. And then he did Dark Knight's death metal where he's like, what if Batman was a dinosaur with spikes on him? Just stupid spaz stuff. Then he got shark attacked by Alex de Campi. Do you remember when Alex de Campi was like, take this pledge not to assault women? And Scott Snyder is like, I take that pledge. And he literally took it like 10 minutes after the pledge was put out there. And then she's like, too late. So he was just constant, like Mags and Alex de Campi, they were just, Heather Antos, they were always just, shark attacking him. But Heather Antos was weirdly the most, I would say, humiliating one. Because he, at the age of like 40, literally apologized to someone who was probably, 28. He apologized for not joining in on the third round of anti-Comicsgate witch hunt while he was on vacation. Like, she was chastising him. And he actually put up with it. And then he did for the next couple years. So then he basically, after recreating the DC universe, in his spastic image, he just left with not a very good reason. He's just like, oh, I just want to let other people handle it. Then he went and created like 30 Netflix pitches that were all just like, what if a woman did this? But it was all shit that women have already done. It was like, what if a woman drove a car? They do that. What if a woman was a firefighter? They've been doing that. Scott, you're a very odd feminist because you seem to think that women haven't done anything. They've been flying planes for 100 years. What if a woman could vote? So he makes these like weirdly feminist Netflix pitches, like fucking 30 of them. He just spams them out. And then he comes back with the most macho ass take on Batman ever. And I can't help but wonder if him being completely bullied and humiliated, and just always just nodding his head. Oh, I'm sorry. I'll take the pledge. I'll apologize. I'm sorry. I went on vacation with my family, childless 27-year-old woman. I'm sorry. Like, that's got, even if you're like, this modern soft guy, you still got a male ego. And it's gotta be bruised by like, why the fuck did I fucking apologize to that airhead? Also, I joined in on the other two. Like, what, we gotta have one like every 3 months? 2018, 2017, yes, it was expected of you to do that. But I can't help but connect years of him being bullied and humiliated by women, and then coming back with the most macho, just like tree trunk arms Batman ever. So, a vague theory, nothing really provable unless he said that. And he's never going to say that. but I think there's something there. Yeah, I still can. I wish Daniel Warren Johnson would just take over. Because, I mean, I like Absolute Batman, but it's just a bunch of stunts. It's like, what if the Joker was a dinosaur? He kind of looks like a dinosaur to me. And you can't really do anything with the rogues. It's like, what if the Riddler had his brain smashed and he had a bunch of metal things screwed into his skull? It's like, now we're stuck with that. Like, you can never have a bowler hat and say like, riddle me this, Batman. He's just always got to be like this brain damaged cyborg. That's not fun. But yeah, do you think that Heather, and to some extent, I mean, Mags is just a guy bullying another guy, but Heather and Alex Campi are women. So do you think he got pushed and he got pushed and he got pushed so far, and he tried to appease them and he tried to acquiesce and he agreed to their demands, and he never said no? That Absolute Batman, who's 8 foot tall with tree trunks for every single extremity, all of them, do you think that was his subconscious male ego fighting back? Anyway, thanks for watching. Bye.